Hello everyone, welcome to week 3 core. With this, we're going to focus on creating sounds for our game as well as adding our win screen. Specifically, we're going to start with our win screen. So to start off, we're going to go ahead and hover over this choose a sprite and we're going to click on the paint tool. Once we're here and we've created our sprite, we're just going to go ahead and rename this win screen, just to keep ourselves organized. And what we're going to do is, so usually when we create a screen, and by this I mean either an intro screen, a background screen, or a win screen, we normally put an entire backdrop over it, but this time around, since we've already taken a lot of time to create our backdrop, we actually are going to stop the entire game from running, and then we'll have our win screen appear. So because of that, we don't need a backdrop in order to do this. What we do need to do is, we'll click on our text tool. We're going to pick a color for our fill, making sure that you're remembering to pick a color that will stand out on your backdrop. So for example, I have a dark one, so I want to use a light color so it stands out and it's easy to read. Same thing for the opposite, so if you pick something that's a lighter color, maybe picking something a little bit darker will allow it to stand out a little bit more. Then the next thing I'm going to do is go right across and I'm going to pick the fonts that I want to work with. And then I'm going to go ahead and write what I want. So I'm just going to do winner with a couple of exclamation marks. If you guys want to add something a little bit longer, that's perfectly fine. As long as the idea of the win comes across to the player, that's all that matters. Once you're done, you're going to use the select tool and you're going to go ahead and make this a little bit bigger. And try to move it to the center as much as possible. Once we're here, the next thing we're going to go ahead and do is add a drop shadow. So you can copy and paste and make the fill black. And this makes a very basic drop shadow. If you want to stop here, that's perfectly fine. But if you want to add a little bit more to this drop shadow to give it more of an effect, we can add a gradient. That's this horizontal one. Once we click on it, the second color, we're going to go ahead and make it invisible. That way it has a little bit of a more invisible gradient being added to it. And now we're going to click on back to move it behind. And as you can see, it adds a nice little effect to our win. We can even move it a little bit so that we can see it a little bit better. So now that we've added a drop shadow, the next thing that we can go ahead and do is pick whatever we want from our creation that we've made, either from our player, our alien, our shooting, in order to help add more cool things to our win screen. So for example, maybe I want to use my player, copy, go back to my win screen, paste it, maybe have this in the back, so I kind of have a place to put it if I wanted to. That's one thing I can do. Maybe something else I can do is add things to the side, so I might copy my shooting, paste it, I'm going to go ahead and rotate it, and I'm going to add one on each side. Okay. And something else that I can do is I can either use the brush tool, change the fill to the color of my winner text that I added, and then I can draw stuff around it to make this look even cooler. Or I can also use this circle, use the same color as the winner, and not have a fill color. And I'm just going to make the outline a little bit bigger so that I can create a ring that I can then use with my select tool. Rotate it a little bit across just to look like a ring from a planet and then add it to my text just to make it look a little bit cooler. So take your time to create your winning screen for your game. Think about placement, where you want things to be, how you want it to look, and what kind of feeling and look you want to show to the player that's playing the game that will get to see this.